That's really the only question, right?
Well, the other question is, where did those votes come from, or where did they go?
Where do they go is probably more the appropriate answer.
I love Seville's hot.
All right, viewers and listeners, we
Real
will
Talk
rock
is
and roll
on.
one year on Real Talk with Keith Smith today. A lot we're going to cover on the program.
Why did you sigh when you said that?
It is the Friday edition of the program, and we're going to be talking real estate. We're going to be honoring the folks that are being going to lead
Elected.
CAR, that are going to lead CAR.
Yeah. We've got a new leadership
Yep.
team. And we're excited about talking about that. They're going to have a little bit of headwinds, and we'll talk about the reality on that because, right, we call this Real Talk. We'll get real about what they're really facing and talk the market. Big data day.
A lot we're going to cover on today's program, ladies and gentlemen. Like and share the show. It is a big day today.
Got stuff all over the table here.
We got, yeah, you do. I see that. That's a lot of papers over there. Let us know your thoughts on anything you want to talk about. I think today's show is going to be quite lively. In fact, I think the content on the I Love Seville network is going to be quite historic today. Quite historic on today's network. Yours truly, Jerry Miller, Keith Smith, Judah Wickower on a Friday. It's good to connect with you. Judah's going to give me the green light when all pages are live and active. I am seeing us live on LinkedIn, where we reach 7,000 plus people on my personal LinkedIn. I'm seeing us live on my personal Facebook, where we have 6,300 and some followers. I'm seeing us live on I Love Seville, where we have more followers than I can count. I Love Seville Food, 7,300 followers. I Love Seville Group, 4,000 plus followers. YouTube, 6,000 plus followers. The platform is literally growing, ladies and gentlemen, every single day, which is not the case for
Legacy media.
legacy media. And that's what happens when you position local content and long form on social
Well,
media.
I will get this out there real quickly. I personally wanted to say thank you for 6 years ago and giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely, Keith Smith. It's been our pleasure. You do have local media watching the program right now and on the I Love Seville network. I would encourage the local media that's watching the show to read what I published about 8 minutes ago on the new zoning ordinance with Judge Worrell's ruling that is now out. I tagged every city councilor in Charlottesville on that publication. Like and share as we, have a lot of people watching the program as we anticipated. Judah Wickower is behind the camera. Counselor Snook, Kevin Yancey, Vanessa Parkhill, Nate Kibler, Spencer Pushart, Holly Foster. Welcome to the program. Kevin Sullivan, Andre Xavier, Ray Cadell. Thank you for watching. Tom Powell, Bob Hedrick. Thank you for watching. Very excited to highlight what is happening today on Real Talk with Keith Smith and then the I Love Seville show. Judah Wickower, my friend, we can rock and roll when you're ready. Are you following the Violent Crown news that we reported upon this week?
I am, actually. I
Yeah.
figured you'd want to talk a little
Pretty
bit about
significant.
that today. Yeah, I actually did a little, figuring you were going to bring that up, did a little research on what condos are going for in the downtown mall.
Well, those would be apartments. Those are not for sale. They're going to be for
I
rent.
understand that, but I generally relate because the value of an apartment is going to be similar to a condo as far as rent goes and so forth and so on. But yeah, not surprising. Have you
got
been
some-
in there lately?
We got some more to report on that today.
Cool. Have you been in that movie theater anytime soon?
No, I don't go to movies.
Yeah, that's Yona and I's little thing, but we stopped going there and actually went to the Alamo a few years ago because it just was falling apart.
Oh, the Alamo's fantastic.
Yeah.
But we have a 73-inch television with surround sound
I
and
was-
a kegerator.
I was thinking this was going to come up, and the question would be out there: how many people actually go to the movies now instead of sitting in front of their 73-inch television 10 years ago cost what? Tens of thousands of dollars. What is it now?
Less than
Couple of grand?
1,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of grand.
Listen, I got 6 TVs and had them installed for like $3,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judah Wickower, we can rock and roll, my friend, when you're ready.
Yona's trying to get me to learn how to read, so that's what we're focused
I
on.
mean, a 73-inch television
Yeah.
in your living room
Yeah.
with surround sound
It's huge.
is a movie theater.
Yeah, sure.
It's a movie theater. All right, we can rock and roll when you're ready, J-Dubs.
I'll shut
Right
up.
on set.
You got a popcorn machine?
We have the same popcorn that's in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally,
Yeah.
it's the same.
And I
popcorn.
bet you it's cheaper.
It's we pay $0.
You pay a little bit,
We don't have to get a babysitter.
and that's huge.
Babysitter's $20 an hour now.
I offered babysitting. We're cheaper than that.
We don't mind. We like being around our kids.
Alcohol.
Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. So much to cover in the real estate space. We have some breaking news on the I Love Seville network as it regards to the new zoning ordinance and Judge Worrell's ruling. The lawsuit against the new zoning ordinance, a portion of it, may move forward. Are we heading to a jury trial? Only time will tell. One thing is certain, with the new zoning ordinance basically being potentially on ice right now, why in God's name, if you're a developer, would you like to pursue the new zoning ordinance in any capacity right now until clarity is offered? So much to cover on the show, including Violent Crowd movie theater, an unshaky future for what is the third movie theater in the city of Charlottesville. I guess Stonefield is technically, Regal is technically in Albemarle County, but let's cut to the chase. Can this market support 3 movie theaters? I think not, my friends. We have a developer and Jeff Levine who is looking to massage the new zoning ordinance. Now, will Jeff Levine choose to massage the new zoning ordinance when the new zoning ordinance may go the way of Arlington County, Virginia? Holy bejeebus, the story Judah Wickower has gotten more significant. A story we've covered from start to finish right here. Judah Wickower off camera, Keith Smith on camera, 2 shots, studio camera. Real Talk with Keith Smith. There's the namesake, Keith Smith. Good Friday morning.
I'm just focused on the bejeebus. Is that like a real word?
No, that's a Jerryism.
That's
much like a Keithism, which is what, 1,100 grand? Was that
1,100
what it
grand.
was?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that what
yeah,
it was?
Well, it was over 3, so I got really confused on that. We could tap into all that stuff. I will be your sounding board and offer my opinion. But what I did want to kick the show off a little bit with is, we've got new leadership at CAR.
Ooh,
Right?
CAR.
As of
What's CAR stand for?
Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors.
Okay.
Look at that. I did that right.
A real estate association.
It's a real estate
Okay.
association. Our local real estate association. So Josh White is the president. Ann Burrows is the outgoing president, so she'll be there. But Amanda Spagone is the president. Spagone, thank
Daughter
you.
of Rick Spagone, a Phi Kappa Psi at the University of Virginia, a baseball player at the University of Virginia. I was a Phi Psi at UVA. And Rick Spagone, a tremendous ping pong player.
And
A
we're in
great table tennis
We're
player.
in the same KW universe, and you'd think I'd remember her name, pronounce her name right. But she's the 2026 president, so we've already elected that. And, which I'm most excited for, is our dear friend Woody Fincham is the treasurer for 2025. I'm excited. We call this Real Talk for a reason, because we kind of get real sometimes. I'm happy for them, but they're about ready to hit some heavy seas and heavy winds.
Do they get paid to work as elected officials in CAR?
No, this is
volunteering at a time where real estate is trying to find itself, trying to find the proverbial lighthouse, trying to find its value proposition.
So before we get into the other breaking news on all that stuff, we've been calling this, I've been talking about this, we've been both talking about this, I guess since 2019 is the shift in our industry. The commission situation really isn't a big shift, right? Since 2012, we've been required to do this by state law, is to have buyer-broker agreements in this conversation. The decoupling of the trifecta of associations in order to belong to a local association, that's going away this year. I'm going to predict that this year. I've been talking about it for a while. These folks are going to have to take that head on, going, what does that look like? And I will say this, I'm encouraged, because when our dear friend Woody Fincham is the treasurer, because building budgets going forward is going to be extremely difficult, particularly when you're not required to be part of these associations to operate in the MLS. Some people will choose not to do that, and income is going to definitely go sideways. But the big things are going to be hitting.
Any Neil Williamson, welcome to the program. Neil, check the email that I just sent you. That's right up your alley. Gary Palmer, Getty Up and Get Ready. Is there should we talk MLSs or no?
Sure, we can talk whatever you want.
Are there and any MLS competitions going on right
Yeah,
now?
so that was the big thing. These are the big things that they're going to be hitting their ways in the next 12 to 24 months. Decoupling, how to enforce this buyer-broker agreement, because the settlement puts this down, and NAR has pushed this down to the local association. How in God's holy name is that going to happen on that end of it? And I've been talking about this since 2019. There, you know, this consolidation of large regional MLSs, I think is going to happen, and you're going to see that happening, and we're going to end up with some large MLS that's going to be wrapped around our little donut hole of Charlottesville. So all this is coming. All this stuff is hitting these guys. Woody's going to have to work some of his appraisal math magic. I was wrong last year. I said we were going to lose a bunch of agents this calendar year. I was wrong because I did not take into consideration the trifecta.
The renewals.
The trifecta requirement. Once that goes away, but you know, I'm going to be positive here for a moment.
Logan Wells Claylo, hello, welcome to the broadcast. I got so many questions. My questions are very more pointed. I don't try to get pointed on Real Talk with Keith Smith. I save that for the I Love
You can
Siegel
do
show.
that. We've been talking about shifting our platform a little bit here.
Yeah.
Well, let me get this out.
Yeah.
I'm super encouraged. Josh White, super sharp person.
Josh White, fantastic. Last time I saw Josh White, he shaved the beard.
Yeah, and
Josh White is he looks like Wolverine from X-Men. They put this man on the cover of a magazine.
what is it? The world's sexiest guy?
I mean, you said that, not me. I just said put the man on the cover of a magazine.
There you go.
Those were your words.
There you go. But we've got some real good leadership in place to go ahead and wrap this. So just give them a little bit of support, because they're sure in God's holy name are going to need it. You got your questions far away. I do want to get into some data, because I think that's going to be important to talk about. But you fire away, and I'll bounce off of you.
All right. So what happens if you're not required to be a part of all three associations? So right now, how it works is if you're selling real estate, you have to pay dues in all three associations.
So if you want to belong to the local MLS on it, you're required.
Okay. We'll be frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I want to be Keith.
Okay.
But,
Be Keith.
But yes, in order for me to conduct business in our MLS at the moment, I'm required to be part of the three associations. Period.
Okay.
End of story.
Okay. You're required to be a part of three associations.
Yeah.
Right. So that would seem the opposite of.
Yes.
The opposite of what?
So look at this.
The opposite of what? What would you say that's the opposite?
So look at this. Hot off the presses, Housewire. This was as of last night. There is now a third lawsuit out in California against NAR and a bunch of other defendants that this is unfair.
Obviously.
Unfair practice.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Hey, real estate agents that are struggling to make money, you're going to have to pay dues in these three associations, even though you're not doing a ton of business right now.
I'll read it. National Association is facing yet another lawsuit related to its three-way membership requirement, which requires realtors to join the local, state, and national association. And it goes on a little bit. So we got California, two other ones in Midwest, and the state of Alabama. The whole association has asked to be removed from this three-way requirement. So the bottom line is, we called the lawsuit, losing the lawsuit. We also called that they were going to settle. I'm telling you that by the end of this year, you're going to end up seeing this thing get dismantled. It might go into a little bit of 2026.
So what's the association most likely that local members will be paying to join?
Well, that would be their decision, right?
No, but what do you anticipate?
I think actually the local associations will.
Over VAR.
I think VAR and CAR. I think at this point, look, we talked about this in the show. I want to put a little bit in perspective. And I didn't do this math until this morning, because Yona asked me, so how many board members are part of the National Association of Realtors? 1,046. That's the national part of it. Then there's Virginia. Each state has its own series of board members, each local jurisdiction. Each local association has it. The Senate and the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House has 535. That's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
To manage 1.5 million, or whatever we're going to end up with, agents. I never looked that number up, because I just never bothered to do it. 1,046 board members to manage a membership of 1.5 million. My suspicion is that the initial push will be, I will tell personally, I probably join all three only because I like NAR stats and I want to have access to those stats. But personally, I'll end up having all three. But the point is, now, hopefully at some point, there'll be choice. And by the way, the fourth thing is clear cooperation is going to go away. That was the fourth one, I just remembered it. So you've got the three-way, the trifecta going away. You've got pressure on MLS. You got pressure on clear cooperation. And then you're going to have pressure on the number of agents actually paying in to do it. So the good news is I think you got the right leadership personally.
Fantastic leadership. I have so many questions.
But they're going to have a hard...
My questions are pointed. They're not always the... My questions are pointed.
I think that's why people watch.
Oh, I know that's why people watch. Yeah. Do you want me to ask the pointed question?
Sure.
Are you sure?
You can ask. I could... last time I checked...
Are you sure?
Last time I checked, we're in the United States of America, and I can decide not to answer them.
I'm happy to ask them.
Go ahead. But I do want to get to market stuff because I think that's important.
There is quite a bit of debt on the car headquarters.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's what Woody's got to manage. That's what these folks got to manage. So that's the fifth one that I didn't even think of earlier.
Quite a bit of debt on the car headquarters on Hillsdale Drive.
It's going to be.
And you're saying that potentially membership dues will not be there, or that membership dues may erode.
Well, put it in your feed of your many thousands of people that are watching, right? If that trifecta went away today, would you still be members? Which one would you pick, or would you do all three? We should do a poll on that. That would be
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I would love to get the answers from people. Ray Cadell and Gary Palmer, that's a fantastic question for you. Not to put you on the spot.
And they could do it anonymous.
That is a fantastic question. Anonymous. Bob Hedrick, that's a fantastic question for you. Yeah. If you had your druthers, would you pay to be a part of all three associations? I'd love to hear Gary Palmer's answer on that.
So this was an enclosed session. So when I was on the board in 2019, I threw out, we've got to figure out what our value proposition is. I will tell you, I attended the last board meeting and I posted on it. It was great to see that they got a strategic plan coming together that addresses some of this stuff. So they've got a lot of work to do. I actually feel sorry for Josh. It's going to be really hard for him to maintain his business and get this done. This is going to be just like an elected official's position, right? I talk about this all the time. If you join the Board of Supervisors of any jurisdiction of the City Council, if you're not working 30 to 40 hours a week, you're kind of not really doing the job. So, I can see where he and this leadership team, and this is why I want to support him. I'm definitively going to support my dear friend Woody Fincham and do whatever I can to help him through this. But this is going to be a huge, heavy lift. And there is confidence amongst the trifectors, amongst each other's boards. There's 1,000 people in local and state. There's a little bit of a trust problem there, right? So this is going to be really difficult navigation. And I'm going to be sitting on the 11:20 at the board meeting and listen to it. As Ann Burroughs said, Keith, you're going to be the fly on the wall. And I'm going to kind of follow after my dear friend Neil Williamson and be one of the seats in the room.
Jonas Smith watching the program right now.
Yeah. Mrs. Smith, my 7/8. So where do you want to go next?
I'm following your lead.
Okay,
did you touch on what is going to happen to that?
No,
building?
I didn't. I thought I was doing really good at political.
You wanted me to be. You asked me to be pointed with you.
So
Gary Palmer's got an answer for you as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Ray Cadell. Gary, what is your thoughts on the future of the Hillsdale building, Gary Palmer?
Yeah.
When did that come to fruition?
Oh, I can't remember. That was pre-COVID for sure. I can't remember what it was. It was before I even got on the board. So I can't, because I remember, I think my first board session was the first one in the new boardroom over there. Look, it's a separate business entity. They need to crank out some stuff. I haven't seen the budget. I haven't seen the P&Ls. My suspicion is it's losing money, right? But I don't think it's losing as much as they thought they would, which is not a bad thing. But this is our dear friend Woody Fincham is going to be able to share that with us in future shows going down and whatever he can share publicly. What do I think?
Gary Palmer, go ahead. Go ahead. I think he's
what-
going to answer this.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction. I'm just about 12 months late. They're going to be shedding a ton of agents, and they've got to. 2 years ago, Yes Realty Partners saw this coming. And what did we do 2 years ago? We revamped our business, we revamped our business model, we revamped our expenses, and we saw it coming, and guess what we're doing now? We're doing better than we've ever done before. That's what they're going to have to do, right? They're going to have to revamp their budgets, revamp everything, project out that we're just not going to get this revenue and what services we need to cut and or employees. I mean, they're going to have to make the hard decisions going forward. If they're able to position themselves as the organization that is bringing professional education and being the forefront of housing and real estate in this market, it probably won't lose as many as everybody's thinking. But if they don't get this right, they'll lose a bunch of people.
Gary Palmer has some answers for us.
Sure, Gary.
He's a fantastic broker. He'd say, number one, he'd pay for Virginia Association of Realtors.
I would agree with that.
Number two, he supposes car.
I would agree with that too.
And number three,
A long distance 3.
long distance. He says, even uses the word maybe NAR.
Yeah. Long distance, yeah.
Maybe NAR.
The real body that needs to rebuild its trust and faith is the one that has 1,046 board members. You think maybe they would have start cutting that back a little bit? A little bit easier to manage?
Neil shares a link to the Hillsdale Conference Center.
Yeah, great.
I'm very familiar with the space. And if you notice with the space, it's pivoting or repositioning itself. Maybe you call it rebranding itself. Maybe you call it transitioning itself into an event space.
Well, it always was an event space. That I can...
Initially, it was...
No, it's always been an event space.
Right, but initially the focus was the headquarters of CAR. Now you can
Well, there's
have...
two sides to it.
Now
Right.
you can have your weddings there. Now in the menu bar, they talk about local hotels
Okay.
and catering.
Okay. They're rebranding, but I can tell you because I was part of the selection committee because the decision was made to do it, like colors and all that kind of great stuff. It was always intended to be a quote-unquote convention center space. That has never changed.
The businessman in me. Can I give you a businessman commentary?
I don't know if anybody ever did an ROI on that.
The businessman in me is, as commercial is trying to find its footing and maybe rebounding, the businessman in me
You think
suggests...
commercials actually rebounding?
My commercial's crushed.
Yeah,
the businessman in
that's
me
you.
suggests that you get it off your balance sheet as soon as possible.
So so to my point, we're just dancing around the sides because we're not in the room, we're not in the executive committee discussions and all this stuff. But these are the heavy lifts that these guys these folks need to look at. And it's going to be hard. As business folks that know how to manage this stuff and went through this stuff, and this is going to be hard. This is going to be a lot of hard work, and kind of,
I mean, this is what this team is going to do.
They gotta
Josh
look at-
White, the Woody Finchams, the Amanda Spagonis.
They got to look at all this stuff. This is going to be hard. Some hard decisions are going to be happening. I believe that I truly, and I'm not just saying this to say it. I really believe that's the right team to do this. They're going to focus on the business side of things. I hope, and try to right this ship. But at the moment, it's not looking rosy. But to Gary Palmer's position, I think if given a choice, and if we were doing a poll, a blind poll that nobody could do that and send it out to 1,000 real estate agents, if you had to pick choice 1, 2, and 3, I think what Gary outlined is pretty much how it would
Carrie
work.
Rock, hello. Donnell Hopkins, hello. What's up, Hop?
I'm just blown away by 1,046 board members for a national.
Carrie Rock, hello.
Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
Andrew Hardy, hello. Thank you for watching the program.
So, you want to go on with this? Or?
You go anywhere you want. Real Talk with Keith Smith. I adapt to you.
There you go. So, if you don't mind looking at slide number 1, please.
Slide number 1, J-Dubs, putting it on screen. He'll give us the thumbs up when it's up there. He's got some data for us. We love
So,
data.
so I want to kind of take this.
It's on screen.
I want to take this from a little bit of a positive perspective.
Okay.
Right. So what you're looking at. So I've got 2 new sources, actually 3 new sources that I've been looking at stuff. Unfortunately, with the Paragon, I can't go back and look at actives and pendings month over month. But between Realtor, Axios, not Axios, Altos, and another one I call KCM, I'm able to go ahead and do that now and actually look at what we actually had active and pending. So what you're looking at, these are new listings. These are listings that came on the market. That red line is the average since 2017. So we have 1,063 new listings per month come on. What I really want to focus on is the right side of that chart. We're actually going in the right direction. We're a bit a ways. We're roughly 19% away from, hold on a second. Yeah, we're roughly 19% away from hitting equilibrium, but we're not going down. So we're going up. So I kind of want to be a little positive about this, that the market is starting to go up a little bit. We're nowhere near the average. If you take a look at the left side of the thing, back in like April and July or May of 17, we were at 1,915 new listings in the month of May versus where we're at now is 700. So it's about half of it. So we're going a little bit in the right direction. Pending, that's slide number 2. The reason I want to focus a little bit on that, Jerry, is see how that thing is a roller coaster,
Oh, yeah.
right? So what always is happening in January, February, March, April, and May?
People getting their homes ready to put on the market?
These are homes that are going under contract. So we get a spike usually. We have our December, January low, right? People are asking what's going on in the market, right? This is kind of normal. But if you take a look at like May 21, which is after the last election, we were at 1,271 in the month of May, new pendings. But I want to kind of focus on we're above where we were this time last year. So pendings are creeping up, actives are creeping up, way below averages. So we're not going backwards. I think what you're going to see, people were asking me the other day where we think the market's going to be for 2025. I think we're going to see a repeat of 23 and 24. So if you look at slide number 2, if you look at where that peaks and valley was between 23 and 24, I think you're going to see the same thing where we're going to be climbing up somewhere around, 800, 900 units. If you remember back in April and May, everybody was going, oh my God, inventory's picking up. The reason it was picking up, we were just a hair over actually average. And it was so low for so long, it looked a lot better than what it was. I think pendings are going up. I think actives are going to go up, but they're going to be way, way low compared to historical averages. So there you go. I got each month, each jurisdiction if people want to look at it.
I think Keith Smith, I appreciate the glasses half full approach. The number one decider of where this market's going to go is going to be interest rates. And there's some, depending on who you read, some saying rates are going to start flirting with an 8.
Oh, yeah. I bet you by the end of the year they'll have an 8 in it.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
saying,
But I think you're going to see somewhere in the first and second quarter. Now, I almost wasn't going to talk about this. I was reading a report from Mr. Yoon, Dr. Yoon.
National Association of Realtors, chief economist.
And they're all talking about rates going down. I think they've been talking about that for 3 years.
Well, I mean, he's a politician. He has to talk about rates are going around. He's got to find case studies or presentation pieces of why rates are go down so folks will get bullish on real estate.
Yeah, but
He's tied to NAR.
yeah, and I get that. But I really think you're going to see inventory start climbing regardless of the interest rates, because I think people are just starting to adjust it, looking to the normal uptick that we have in the first 2 quarters of the month. I think by osmosis that's going to happen. Yes, if rates start getting to, when I was out in Phoenix, all the experts out there that we were on the panels on and talking to, the number was 5.875. All of a sudden there's going to be an explosion. And my question to the panel was, on what?
Jerome Powell said yesterday.
On what?
No.
I got it.
No.
if there's no new houses coming on the market, how is inventory, our pool of number of units are going to remain the same that we have available in our region unless that pool gets bigger, like however, new construction or new developments? Interest rates can drop to 5%. I just don't see inventory skyrocketing to the places that they were in 18 and 19 as far as new units coming on.
Mortgage rates are influenced by several factors, including moves in the yield for the U.S. 10-year Treasury bonds.
And that's going up.
Yes.
And why is that going
it's
up?
going up? Powell said yesterday straight up to the entire world, we're in no hurry to cut rates.
Oh, yeah.
Powell said yesterday to the entire world, the economy's crushing it.
Yeah.
He said yesterday to the entire world, the United States is the best economy in the world. Look at the numbers, we're humming. Why would I do anything to cut rates? That's exactly what he said.
So you agreed to this, and I want to say thank you in front of everybody that we're going to do 2 shows next week. One is Wednesday, one is Friday, right? So I just shout that out.
Yeah. I'll move my schedule.
Right.
I'll move my schedule.
The reason I wanted to bring this up is that we're going to bring the Erpies in to talk a little bit about this. But why do you think the 10-year bill Treasury is climbing?
I think the 10-year Treasury is climbing for a number of reasons. I think one of the reasons is what Powell said. I think another of the reason is the economy is crushing it.
And?
I think another reason is people are looking down the road and see a crushing economy.
And that's the answer.
Yeah.
So people are feeling great about the future economy.
You know when you see mortgage rates drop? When you see mortgage rates drop?
When the economy's not doing so good.
When the economy's in the crapper.
That's
mortgage rates.
But that's not norm, right?
Yeah.
To me, there are exceptions to the rule.
There are exceptions.
The unicorn years were kind of was weird. And
what's the unicorn years? Pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pandemic was when the economy was in the crapper. We had to be home. We were scared, so they cut rates to spur the economy.
Correct.
You cut rates to get the housing sector, which is a key component to the national economy, the regional economy, the local economy. You cut rates to get people to do stuff around their house, remodeling projects, buying stuff, buying appliances, painting their house, all the above.
So I do want to give a shout out to ISC for the moment.
Interstate Service Company, home's best friend.
Right.
Wells family.
I'm predicting that you're going to see inventory
Friends of the show.
You're going to see inventory grow.
Man, I'm going to push back on that.
I'm telling you, you're going to see, because it historically does it. It's just the volume, the amount is going to be different. So right now, November and December, if you look historically all the way across the line, it's usually our flatline months. This is the time to reach out to folks like ISC and start getting your home tweaked, because the housing market right now, if it isn't in great shape, right? Is not in the right location, price, features, condition. Doesn't matter about timing, because those things are just not going to work. So you want to get somebody like ISA in there and get your HVAC system cleaned up, painting, whatever those items are that your trusted advisors is going to tell you, your real estate agent, to go ahead and put it on it. Because I'm telling you, there will be an uptick in it. It's just not going to be 1,900 homes. Hold on a second, I'm looking at the wrong slide.
Online on interstateservices.com.
Yeah, it's not going to be 1,000 pendings. It's not going to be 1,200 pendings. It's going to be maybe 700, 800, 900. We won't break. When we do the show on May of next year, I'm pretty sure you won't have over 1,000 units, regardless of what the effing interest rates do. It'll help. It'll make it go faster. But if you don't bring more inventory online, I mean, Jonas said I'm not supposed to say this, so I won't do it. I'm not an educated man.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm not.
It doesn't matter.
I got kicked out of high school.
Dude, education is not tied to
learning.
learning
yells at me all the time.
in a room.
Yona yells at me all the time.
Education is tied to experience. It's tied to instinct. It's tied
I
to
got enough
nuance
grade.
and savvy.
I got enough grade, trust me.
Street smarts.
Yep. So unless
I don't like when you do that either.
Yep. Thank you. So unless we increase new units, it's just supply and demand, right? The price is going to go up. Inventory will go up. I mean, we're looking at flirting at 8, and still houses are trading. We were at 8, last year or whatever it was?
October.
Yeah. And houses were still trading. There's going to be people out there that are going to be able to buy.
How much have values increased this time last year to this year?
Oh, It's funny you should ask that
That's
question.
one of the, I try to set you up with varying degrees of difficulty with the questions I throw your way. That was the underhand floating pitch for you to look good in the Grand Slam.
Thank you. So which,
I've thrown a couple 100-mile-an-hour fastballs.
yeah. So which
I'm basically the point guard. You're the star of the show. I just pass you the ball.
oh yeah, well then we're in trouble if you're counting on my basketball skills.
Passing you the ball.
So you want to pick a jurisdiction? This
All
would
right,
be
let's go
slide-
Albemarle County.
All right. So we're talking about number of sales or price point?
Price point. Values.
Price point. Got it.
Year over year.
So do me a favor. Pull up slide number 5.
Slide number 5, Judah Woodcock.
Funny, I should just happen to have a slide.
Unbelievable. Can you
Right?
imagine that?
Right? Can you imagine that? Hang on a second. I got 2 different slides here. I want to make sure Smith is got his act together here. So slide number 5, Albemarle County. That is on the left.
It's on screen. Judah Woodcock. You're on point today too, Judah.
You're on point today too, Judah. I got a different sheet that I put percentages on. Hang on a second here, everybody. Got it. All righty. You ready?
Are we ready?
Albemarle County, year over year, first 10 months, 540 versus 503. That is a 7% jump. So in
Year over year.
1 year in Albemarle County.
It's gone up 7 points. 7%.
Want to know about Charlottesville?
Is it 7%?
7%, brother.
Okay.
Charlottesville, city of Charlottesville, we're currently right now, let's quantify this, all product types, attached, detached.
I would bet you it's even higher.
Oh, there you go, because you're looking at the slide. 532 versus 456. That is a 17% jump. 1 year over year. I think what you're going to talk about next might usually impact that. Fluvanna, which I'm encouraged to see, is up 2%. 360 versus 352. Our friends at Greene County, Greene County, Neil Williamson, 400,000 this first 10 months versus 385. That is a 4% jump. Louisa County, 424 versus 403. That is a 5% jump. Nelson County, which is very interesting, at the last Planning District Commission meeting, I went over these numbers, and the Nelson County Board of Supervisors' mouths dropped when I gave this number. 417 versus 385, it is up 8%. So Nelson County, from a percentage perspective, is beating out Albemarle County.
From a percentage perspective.
From a percentage.
Yeah.
And then you're going to ask me, volume, Smith.
Yeah. Well, this is where I'm going with this.
The 10
Here's where I'm going with this. So Albemarle County, year over year, home values have upticked 7%.
Correct. Volume went down 10%.
If we expect, and you've already said that you expect volume and inventory for next year to be similar to 2023 and 2024. Is that what you said?
At the end of the year, I think it's going to look very similar
Okay.
to 2023.
So let's just say this. Ready for this?
Sure.
Let's say inventory 2024 versus 2025, end of the year, same units sold. Let's also say 2024 end of the year versus 2025 end of the year, Albemarle County goes up 7%. That's a compound 7% on the previous 7%.
Sure.
Compound on 2023 being higher than that. And good God, what happened during COVID? If interest rates even uptick slightly upward, the level of unaffordability will become magnified. This is orders of magnitude more unaffordable.
Yes. And
You're talking 7% increases in value compounded, plus an increase in rates, plus a large portion of the population still has the 2.5 or 3.5% rate they're sitting on during COVID. They may be unhappy in their house, and many people are unhappy in their house. They're house trap, you can call it, right?
rate trap too.
Rate trap, you call it rate trap. But when it's all said and done, the economics of being rate trapped,
Except
death, divorce, is that what you're going to call babies? Birth, yeah.
the
Is that
Ds.
diamonds? Is that what you're going to use?
It's the D's, but that's what I was going to say. What I was going to say was about 88% of everybody's movement is because of one of the D's, and I won't bore everybody with the D's. So life happens. Life has to move. That's the reason why these sales are happening.
Right, but
And
the sales
numbers-
are happening at clips that are associated with what year?
So
And car. What year is the inventory that we're having sold here most synonymous with?
So-
Is it 2016?
So let's look at slide number 6 and
we go.
answer that question
Okay.
for you. I need a drink. Can I get two
On
drinks?
screen? Absolutely.
Drinks? All right.
There's no rules here.
I don't think we've ever followed any rules.
No rules.
Car footprint, total number of homes sold, and median sales price, 2016 to 24. First 10 months of the year. Top line is volume. These are closed transactions now. These are not, we talked about actives and pendings. These are closed transactions. And in the Facebook post I did, I dumped all these slides in there, so anybody, use them as you want. Tell me I'm full of you know what, but this is data straight off, in this case, car. So the bottom line is sales price. We're up 75% from 2016 to today.
Did you hear that, Judah?
So now these are
Is this the car footprint?
This is the car footprint.
75% increase in value.
So this is car footprint. We want to quantify this though, right? Car footprint, all product types, attached, detached, right? Condos, and includes new construction. So this is everything in one big envelope on it. But we're at a median sales price right now of 480. 2016 we were at 275. But the volume, let's go take a look at the volume because I run another sheet. I wrote the numbers down. Our peak was 2021. We were at 3,947. We are now at 2,493. We are roughly 37% below our peak in 21. And we are 16% below 2016. Those who have watched the show know I can't go past 2016 because the data gets wonky and I don't trust it so much. So that's the reason I picked 16 going forward. I think you got to chase that a bunch of years to get to the same volume. The data just isn't reliable out there that we have on it because we switched in 2016.
So can I jump in here?
No.
I'm good at being
What do you think? Did
succinct.
that work?
One of
that work?
my talents is communication. Succinct communication. From 2016 to 2024, that is an 8-year period of time.
Yep.
In that 8-year period of time, values in Albemarle County have appreciated 75%.
On a median.
The median values.
Median values
75%.
on all product types. If you start diving into different
You're
products,
not being succinct. 75% median value in an 8-year period of time in Albemarle County.
I thought it was a human.
Have salaries and compensation from employers
He said I stink.
increased 75% in an 8-year period of time.
Yeah, sure.
No, they have not.
I was talking to him. I didn't hear what you said.
Have salaries
No,
increased 75% in an 8-year period of time. So what does that mean?
Houses are expensive.
It means
The average, and we have to bring on a
it
lender
means
to
folks
tell
that are buying these houses are folks that aren't necessarily here in the 8-year period
yeah,
of
but
time
we-
from
but-
8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I know you keep saying this has always been happening. This has always been happening. This is the history of Central Virginia.
And-
it's happening at an exponentially greater rate now.
Yeah. And we've been talking about this for a while, right? And so this is a new news to anybody who's in this space. What I'm trying to do is give some basic information. So people that might not want to buy because they're worried about valuation, you don't need to worry about valuation because we just proved in 8 years values are continue to go up.
Yeah, Kevin Yancey, your bearish take on housing values. I appreciate your viewership and listenership of all our shows.
Yeah.
I look forward to your comments, Kevin Yancey. You're a valued member of this family. But your bearish takes on home values is just not in today's reality.
So he's thinking values are going to go down.
Yeah, he says they're unmaintainable.
No, but the where matters, right? So
Good example of this is with the where matters. Can we compare two expensive areas?
Well,
and what's happening
that's what
sales-wise?
That's what I'm going to try.
Traction-wise?
That's what I'm going to try to do for you right away.
Because I follow these very closely.
Yeah, slide number 9. So that's my home county, Fluvanna County. We've increased, but rather flat, right? So I talked about it. Another thing, I think it was. Hold on a second here. I got way too many slides here, and I'll let you be succinct. Fluvanna County was up 2%. So this time last year, we were at 354. We're now at 360 is the median. But if you take a look at the right hand of that chart, it's kind of a nice and even climb. That's kind of what you want to see, right? none of these spikes. But you take a look at, go on to slide number 8, which is, let's call it the city of Charlottesville, because that had the largest percentage rate. Take a look at the right side of that climb. It went from, that red line is just skyrocketing up. Inventory's going up too, by the way. Inventory is plummeting in Fluvanna County. The number of units selling, if you go back to slide number 9, Judah, take a look at from 2021 to 2024, the drop of units. We went from 537 to 281. But our prices are kind of moving up nice and gentle. As somebody who likes to see a healthy market, that I like a lot better, these roller coasters up and down are generally not healthy. Look at Nelson County, slide number 10. Inventory plummets, 386 in 2021 to 210 in 23. We're still falling at 205, but look at that shot up in price. That was COVID. Everybody wanted to live out in Nelson County in COVID and then realized, oh, I got to go back to work, and started moving.
Jason Howard, Jerry Miller, it sounds like you're saying in 2025, that will not be the year we see school bus service in the city or county get fixed or public transport in general getting staffed out. 1,000%, that's what I'm saying. In fact, I'll take it even a step further. 2025 is going to be considerably more unaffordable than 2024. And 2024 was more unaffordable than 2023. And it's getting to the point, and I say this all the time on the 1230 show, that this isn't a 40-hour week area of work. This is a 60 to 80-hour week of work area, Albemarle and Charlottesville specifically. And the folks that are going to be squeezed out of this Albemarle County and the city of Charlottesville are going to be the folks that are working frontline jobs. Those frontline jobs, public transportation.
And you act as that's new?
I know this isn't new. I'm saying that. I'm saying this is happening at a more aggressive clip than ever before.
Yeah, I don't have those slides in front of me, but there was to go back to inventory, new inventory matters.
Keith, we just saw a 7-year appreciation of the median home value in Albemarle County, and that 7-year appreciation represented $35,000 uptick in price. At the same time that interest rates are upticking, at the same time there's no inventory.
I don't have time to look this up on Google and think and chat at the same time. I would love to see what the AMI was in 2016.
Area median income according to HUD, I can find that for you.
Because we're now at 120. That would be a good relational number to take a look at, in my opinion. You know where we were in 2000.
I can find you that.
2016. We know we're now at 124, 200.
124, 200.
I suspect when it comes back out in April-ish,
it's going to be higher.
I think it's going to be higher.
No question. It went in 2023 from 100.
Jerry, why do you? This is exactly.
You ready for it?
Yeah. What is it?
2016. The area median household
income. I bet you it was like
income,
80 or something. I bet.
92,000.
Yeah. So
it's 124,200.
Yeah.
The median income, according to HUD, in an 8-year period of time, has increased by $32,000.
And somebody who can do quick math and spreadsheets could figure out the ratios and so forth and so on out that way. But it didn't increase 75%. That's the point that I think you're trying to make, and that what I'm trying to.
That's the point I'm making.
Look.
We're
on show 753 or 4 or something like that.
We should say this succinctly for the viewers and listeners, and I get out of your way. And Judah, you should hear this. In an 8-year period of time from 2016 to 2024, the family median household income in the Charlottesville, Albemarle, Central Virginia area was $92,265. In 2024, that income, family household median, is $124,200. We're going to use round numbers and say that's a $32,000 increase, Judah, in family household income. $32,000. This happened over an 8-year period of time where home values appreciated 75%. The incomes can't match the appreciation.
Yeah, I got it. So that's the problem. How are you going to fix it? It's the reason why I was trying to say earlier, I'm trying to do the percentage gain in the city of Charlottesville from 280 to 532 here while I'm saying this thing. It's why I'm on 3 different boards. I'm just going to be honest. I flirted for the minute of putting my hat in the ring for the Carr board, incoming president. I didn't do it for a couple of reasons,
Well,
right? The real reason I didn't do it is these other boards I'm sitting on that were diligently trying to work to solve this problem, particularly the land trust. And there's a reason why I ring the bell. If I had $10 million, I could do a ton of work with the land trust. But this housing affordability is a problem. I'm trying to pull an old slide up here because I did this for a show that we never did on new construction and comparing in Albemarle County the new construction cost of attached versus detached. And the reason I wanted to bring that up, and I don't have the exact in front of me, Jerry, but there was this spike in the last several years of builders and developers building and bringing to market quite a bit of attached product. And what happened in the attached product, when you track that, as that came on and you track the value of it, the value percentage is flattened out. We brought more new construction on, and this was also on existing stuff. I'd have to go back and pull the slides. Single-family detached, which did not grow in the new construction world because it was too difficult to do and yada, yada, yada. It's just a huge spread. So the point I'm trying to make, when you start looking at Greene County, when you've got a couple of thousand units coming on, and I don't know if you followed the news, they only upped the water and sewer connection fee $2,500, so this stuff is coming, right? You're going to start seeing that when the new product from Greene County's numbers starting to flatten a little bit, it's still going to increase, but new inventory is going to matter on the affordability side of the house. And I'm trying to dig up the slides from that show so I can actually show you the numbers, and we'll probably do this for another show. But that would be a great example, and I wanted to do that on a previous show. And if you create more inventory, new construction inventory, it helps stabilizes the prices. Now, it has all kinds of other impacts that we can talk about, but as far as pricing goes, it helps stabilizes it.
I don't think the electorate wants new inventory, Keith.
Yeah, well, they're going to keep on paying more for houses.
I mean, look at the city of Charlottesville. A guy's trying to bring 225 apartments to the Violent Crown Theater. And everyone in the city of Charlottesville revolted against 225 apartments because they wanted an indie movie theater to stay in its place, despite the same people not supporting the indie movie theater with their paying money, with their income.
Yeah.
There are examples everywhere in the city of Charlottesville that is screaming for more housing because of affordability issues, and then when more housing is being proposed, they shoot it down.
Somebody check my math on this. Could it be a 90% increase between 280 and 532?
What is this, 2026 to 2024?
Yeah, 280 was the median sales price in Charlottesville in 2016. We are now at 532. I think my math is right. That's a 90% increase over 280. Check my math on that.
280,000, you're saying times 1.9?
Yeah.
90% increase, 532.
Yeah. So it's a 90% increase. It's
Yeah.
the price.
280,000
Yeah.
times 1.9.
Yeah. So I got it right.
Is 532,000.
Yeah, I got it right. So city of Charlottesville is, I'm going to take a little liberty here, is almost went up 100%.
In 8 years.
8 years. And then the difference between 23, hold on a second here, 23 and 24, roughly 17%. We've got a 17% jump, which is, I think I wrote that down someplace else. I did, 17%. Look at that, 17%. So anyway, for a future show, I will come up with some charts on this because I really want to figure out a way for us to have this debate and this discussion about how new construction inventory can impact the market. So I'm gonna have to do a little research. When I was in this thing in Phoenix, and we're talking about in Texas how prices have stabilized. I know the community doesn't want it, but unless they're good with 90 or 100% price increases, and maybe they are.
This is what I'm gonna follow. How Greene County residents are gonna respond to this new housing.
What are they gonna respond to?
Let's see how they respond.
But what?
Let's see how they respond.
What's to respond to?
There's
these
more housing?
They're all,
They're in the pipeline.
yeah.
Let's see what happens when
Decisions have been made.
when the housing is built.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Well, I will tell you, I know the Nelson County Board of Supervisors are shocked on the median sales price. I think it'd be the same thing on Greene County. But the bottom line is, people are moving. We're here to help them.
Oh, you guys kill it. Yes Realty Partners is crushing it.
We're trusted advisors to the point of the discussion we're having now. Sometimes you got to tell people what they don't want to hear. You got to have these hard discussions on it. I think that's something we do well.
Oh, yeah.
And
What's the Guthrie saying? Disappoint you now than disappoint you later.
absolutely, I'd rather disappoint you now than disappoint you later. Absolutely, 100%. But you need your trusted advisors. Real estate is always these 6 things. I keep on beating it over the head. But, at the end of the day, you got a big show to do at 12:30. It is 11:14. I've got a 11:30 for a client meeting on that stuff.
The supervisors and counselors watching the program, we appreciate you watching the show. The agents watching the show, we appreciate you watching the show. Got TV and paper watching the program and digital media watching the show. We appreciate you guys. Keith Smith, with a large audience, some closing thoughts.
Yeah, so if you wanted to chat a little bit about the judge's ruling, ultimately, I suspect that's going to go up the chain of command, eventually ending up in the Supreme Court. I can tell you from a market perspective, and there are a few projects in the pipeline, but I can tell you from the people that I talk to, most people just don't want to do stuff. People do not want to do stuff in the city of Charlottesville. It's too complicated. It's too laborious. This is only going to make that worse. People are just not. To your point, why would you come here?
Right.
Right.
Put a plan in place in January, and by November, the plan's been shot apart like Swiss cheese.
And
which we told them it was going to happen.
And most of the people, entities that do this for a living, we're all sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen. And something is happening. Back on the movie theater, this news that you broke could impact that deal.
Oh, dude, it's huge impact on the theater. He's doing a plan based on the NZO.
Yeah.
And now the NZO is heading to a jury trial.
Not to get into
potentially.
Not to get into the weeds, but this has the potential of growing crazy. So let me give you a quick little zoning thing, right? So Fluvanna County, right now, is looking to remove, and I'll try to be succinct, is looking to remove its cluster development as a by right, right? So it has the right to do that. The Board of Supervisors of Fluvanna County are looking to remove the cluster development is, if I got 100 acres, I can carve off 60% of it and then put a bunch of homes in the remaining balance, right? So your density goes up. They're going to change it to 5 lots maximum, right? So what's happening right now in Fluvanna County?
Tell me.
People are submitting applications for cluster developments out the gazoo. Why is that? Because once I'm in the system and accepted into it, even though the judge may change all that stuff, the rules that are on the table right now apply to me. So if they all start changing that, the lawsuits that are going to explode from this on it is going to be pretty huge on that. So did that make sense? Was that succinct enough? So if you get in there right now before this actually gets stopped and put an application and pay your fee, get accepted, the rules at that given point is what is applicable to your project. They can't go back and retroactively change it. It's called entitlement. Then you would end up having the project. So you're going to see potentially, based on this breaking news, people that have been in the periphery might start throwing stuff in. So back to the...
I don't see that happening because they weren't throwing anything now.
100%.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to create more distrust and uncertainty, and it's going to create a feeling of incompetence, a sense of incompetence.
Look, thank God I didn't lose my mustache on the bet with Neil. But what I've always been saying is the real problem with that zoning is the site plan side. That's never been fixed. That is arduous to say the best on it, right? And I think this thing is going to run up the flagpole. I'm not going to bet my mustache on this one.
I wouldn't
Who's
bet
gonna-
your mustache on
who's gonna-
anything tied to Charlottesville.
Who's going to win it on that end of it? I will tell you, it will run through the system. Somebody's going to put a appeal on it, I'm sure. And back to the guy or the entity that's buying that. Not the Alamo, the Violet Crown.
He's got it. He's got it on a contingent purchase agreement.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, nobody in their right mind would ever buy a piece of property like that without some sort of contingency on it. So it'll surely be contingent on him being able to do what he wants.
It's
on
going
it.
before BAR next week.
Yeah. So it depends on, and I don't know where it is. It depends on where it is in the application process. So
Early stage.
But if it's been accepted, Jerry, this may not impact that project.
It hasn't been accepted.
Has staff accepted it as a complete application and meets all the criteria? And has it started to go through the process? If the answer to that is yes, whatever's on the books now is going to be applicable.
You're saying he's going to be grandfathered in. But what's on the books now is not what he needs. What's on the books now is 13 stories, and he wants 18. So what's on the books now doesn't
Which
pencil
means
out.
he's either doing a rezoning or he's doing an SUP.
No, yeah, exactly. He's asking council to change what's on the books now. And council has no idea what's going to be on the books now because now there's a lawsuit challenging what's on the books now. This is a crap show,
So
which
I'm
we'll
going to
talk about at 12:30.
got it. I'm actually going to reach out to Valerie Long
Please,
and make sure
she should come on the show.
exactly that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do to bring her on, because I'd like a really super clear legal answer. I've been doing this for 40 years. The rules have always been, if the rules are X and I submit an application to go through a rezoning, to go through a site plan approval, the rules that are applicable at the time that my application is accepted is what is applicable for that process. They can't go through later on and say, well, it's changed. They have to rule on it, or they have to. Now, they can reject it for myriad of reasons, but it has to be allowed to go through. And will the contract purchaser go, like, this is BS?
This is, yeah.
I'm
That's
not
what he's going to do.
I'm not,
Because
100%.
he already did it at the Artful Lodger site.
100%.
He literally did that.
100%. I'm not spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that's what it's going to cost to go through this. But from a legal perspective, again, I'm not a lawyer, but from a legal perspective, and Neil would probably know this better than anybody, from a legal perspective, once it's in the system, those are the rules that are applicable at that particular time.
So much to cover, guys. So much to cover.
Okay, it's you gotta go do your show, and I gotta go do an appointment.
Real Talk with Keith Smith, guys, online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Click the Partners tab, support the people that support the show. 2 shows next week, Wednesday and Friday.
So a little bit of just toss this out there, questions for the viewers and listeners. You know, if you've been watching a while, you know, Jerry and I have been pushing against each other a little bit on stuff. I'm loving it. I'd love to hear what people out there are liking.
They're loving it.
Yeah. Well, I don't see what you're looking at.
Yeah, they're loving it. It's not vanilla. They're loving it. That's how it is on television.
I wanted to shake things up a little bit,
Yeah.
and for us look at both things. But I want to say something.
Yeah.
I love you.
Same. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's all content creation.
You know, if the rest of the world could kind of do this,
Yeah. We're just talking.
it's amazing how that works,
Yeah,
right?
it's just talking. Judah Wickower, Keith Smith, Jerry Miller. Real Talk with Keith Smith on a fantastic day to be alive. 12:30 p.m. for some breaking news. iloveseville.com for some breaking news on the new zoning ordinance. Judah Wickower, close her down, baby. That was fantastic.
Thanks, guys.